Hello, hello, my dear health seekers. Inga from Health Origins here. So tonight I'm going to be doing a recipe that got requested by the lovely Stephanie, one of my channel viewers. It's tomato and pepper soup. It's not the one that my husband has promised a while ago. I still need to convince him to make that video for you guys some other time. But this is a different tomato and pepper soup. So let's begin. So here I've got the ingredients for the soup. So what I did ahead of time, I've roasted 8 tomatoes, like salad tomatoes, and one red pointed pepper, or you could use the bell pepper as well. So I've roasted them on 170 degrees Celsius for an hour. And what happened was the skins on tomatoes split, and I was able to just take the skin off neatly and nicely like this and just peel it off after they roasted and cooled down a little bit. And I did the same with the pepper. I peeled the pepper. So this is the roasted tomatoes and pepper here that we're gonna need. Then also normally I normally put the garlic together in the roasting tin in its own skin, so 3 cloves of garlic. If you're roasting it, actually you could probably do 4 because it becomes milder, the flavor becomes milder. But anyway, so normally I put them together in the skins to roast, but today I forgot, so we'll just kind of fry them together with the onions and the celery in my Thermomix. So obviously if you don't have Thermomix, which will help me to fry and then kind of cook and also to blend it, so I'm just using 1 container. You guys just use a normal pot, a kind of non-stick pot or pan, like deep pan, where you can fry ingredients first, then to add all your liquids, and then blend it as well. So the ingredients I'm going to need, as well as the tomatoes and the roasted pepper, I've got 2 sticks of celery sliced thinly. Then I've got 1 large onion, also kind of chopped and sliced. I've got 3 cloves of garlic, like I've mentioned. I've got 1 sweet potato that I baked as well while I was baking. Baking the tomatoes and pepper, so I've just added that. So that sweet potato, that will give a little bit extra kind of bulk and also some sweetness to our soup. Then I've got 1 can of chopped tomatoes, and then I've got some maple syrup, and then also I'm heating up a litre of stock here. So what I'm using for the water, I'm using actually chickpea water, and then I've just added 2 vegetable cubes into that, or you can just use normal water obviously, but because I've already cooked chickpeas, I had that water ready, so that's what I've used. So to start with, we'll have to add our onion and celery into the Thermomix, and I'm gonna put the lid on and I'll set it off to fry for about 7 minutes, and obviously you do the same on your stovetop cooker as well. So just put the lid on and I'm gonna fry these off for 7 minutes, and then for the last minute I'm gonna add the garlic so that it cooks until it's a little bit fragrant, and then we're gonna be adding all our other ingredients and cooking it, and then at the end we'll blend it together. So it's been 7 minutes when the onions and celery were cooking, And wouldn't say I'm like the biggest fan of frying stuff in the Thermomix, because it doesn't become caramelized, unfortunately, because obviously of the lid holds on a lot of moisture, so it kind of more or less steams itself, becomes kind of translucent but doesn't become brown. But it doesn't matter, as long as it's cooked, they'll be nice. You know, if you're doing it in the pot, then, you know, or a pan, deep pan, just make sure, you know, that your onions and celery are nice and caramelized, kind of brownish. And then if it starts sticking, just add a couple of tablespoons of stock or water, and then keep on browning it. So I've added the garlic now, and I'll let it go for another couple of minutes. So the onion, celery and garlic mixture has finished cooking, so it's been altogether 10 minutes. And I'm gonna now add all the roasted tomatoes and the pepper into here. We'll add all other ingredients as well. And if there's liquid, roast liquid, make sure to add that as well, because this is nice and delicious, caramelized. So just adding that. Then I'm gonna add the potatoes, the sweet potatoes. Gonna add a can of tomatoes. In they go. And we can actually add a little bit of stock into the can and wash it out as well. So I've got, for this recipe, I've got a litre of stock, so I used 2 stock cubes for it. Just add a tiny bit of water. You don't want to waste the tomatoes. And then I'm going to add the water just up to my max level of the Thermomix. So it's just about 2 litres, this soup. And I'm going to add the last ingredient, which is optional, so it's up to you whether you want to add it or not, is maple syrup. So I'm going to add just a tablespoon of maple syrup to give this extra nice kind of balance of, because there's a lot of sourness from the chopped tomatoes, and also roasted tomatoes will have some sourness there as well. So this tablespoon of maple syrup will just nicely balance the sour and sweet. And then I'm gonna put it on for 15 minutes to properly cook through, mix the flavors, and then at the end of that we'll blend it. In fact, my Thermomix was struggling a little bit because obviously there's these big tomatoes that drop to the bottom, and it's struggling to kind of turn it. So I'm just gonna chop it for like say 5 seconds just to get the big bits chopped up, and then continue cooking. So the soup has finished cooking, so I'm gonna now blend it quickly for about a minute just so that it's smooth. If you don't have Thermomix, you can do the same thing in a blender. Obviously be careful with the liquid being hot, and do it perhaps, you know, if you've got a small blender in 2 batches, or you could also use like a stick immersion blender and do that in a pot as well. So now we've got this creamy lovely tomato soup. I'm gonna ladle it into a bowl, and I'll show you what other additions as well you could add to the bowl. And then other things we have, I've got some chickpeas. So this is an idea actually from Forks Over Knives recipe, where they add some chickpeas and also some sliced cherry tomatoes, or plum, like baby plum tomatoes, to the actual finished soup. You could also put them in the actual soup when you heaten it up as well, so that they heat through. So I'm just gonna add a few there, and then I'm gonna slice a couple of tomatoes open. And then if you like pepper, you can grind a little bit of pepper onto your soup. And then I'll finish it off with a little bit of, I've got this seed blend seasoning. So basically I roast the pumpkin seeds with some spices. I'll link to the video that I make this below and above as well, and then I sprinkle this seed mixture on top too. So voila, this is the finished soup. So all that's left to do is now to taste test it. So let me taste test this soup for you. Oh, yum. Let me get some of the chickpeas as well. This is good. I hope you enjoyed the recipe tonight, and if you did, give me a thumbs up, and if you're new here, welcome. I bring out a recipe every Wednesday, and also I do a cook along for weight loss show every Sunday at 7 o'clock GMT time. And please let me know what other recipes you would like to see on my channel. If you request a recipe and if I make it, I'll make sure I'll mention you in the video, like I mentioned Stephanie at the start of the video too. And remember, food is fuel, so be mindful of what you put in your body. Until next time.